All right, well, hey everyone, this is Matthew Tingblad, or Ting Thing on the internet. I'm the developer of Platform Builder, and I wanted to do a video here sharing with you a new feature coming out for Platform Builder in beta 10.3. In fact, by the time you're seeing this video, this new feature should be out. If not, then even rolled out of beta by then. I'm not sure when you'll be viewing this, but the big new feature here, which I think deserves a little bit of an explanation, is, ready? Boom, 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 layers right here. Platform Builder now offers you to work with layers. And so essentially layers are these like invisible planes stacked on top of each other, and every item in Platform Builder is on a layer. And so the higher layers are the ones that are going to be visible, like an item on a higher layer is going to show above an item on a lower layer. So very similar to if you've ever worked with like art programs before or something like that. When you launch Platform Builder, you will notice that there are 10 layers that are generated for you, and these are called auto layers or automatic layers. And the reason they're auto layers is because in order for Platform Builder to lay stuff down, it needs to have at least some layers to work with. And when you want to have Platform Builder automatically select layers for you, it's going to pick it on one of these auto layers here. And so to give you an idea, like let me go here and turn on show layer information. Right now, as you can see at the top, it's going to be on auto layer 3 when I place down a character. If I move over to something like this exit sign, invisible things, that's auto 1 invisible things. Here's a castle, auto 4, and so they're all going to display on these different layers depending what you have. You may have noticed when I hover over here, when this thing is enabled and I hover over, you'll see the information of the layers that are placed down. Everything's going to show it to you. So layer ID 1, 3, 10, 9, you can see that they're these different layer IDs here. Now if you want to just not worry about this and continue on building your things without messing with layers, go right ahead. As long as you're doing automatically selected layers, then Platform Builder will figure that stuff out for you. That is recommended. There's a number of things which are going to look funky if you do the layers wrong, right? Like you could have a player flying over the front of a pipe rather than inside a pipe, for instance. And also some things like 3D tiles have to work on the layer that Platform Builder selects for it. If you try and use 3D tiles on a different layer, it's just going to be two-dimensional. If you remember the 3D tile feature, but whatever the case, so there's some important things to realize with that. But let's say I wanted to do something different. So rather than doing an auto layer, I can select one, and now I can hit select, and now it's going to just, whatever I do is going to be on auto 3 characters. I can select a top layer and put ground over the top if I wanted to do that. Whoops, I didn't select the top layer. I thought I did. There we go. Ground over the top, and now it's just covering everything, which maybe that's what you're into. I don't know, but as you can see, I'm just kind of messing with this game. Here's where things can get interesting, though, because with these layers, you can turn off visibility, and let's do that. And so now that top ground layer is gone. And when I play it, it's going to remain invisible, as you can see. When you're working in the course editor, there's actually a command to toggle on and off the visibility of a layer, which will be cool for you guys, and I'll show you some demos of that a little later, which will be fun. But some other things to realize, this is going to be a little different than what you're used to. For instance, when I select a layer, the fact that we see it highlighting kind of greenish instead of the typical blue highlight here is because it's an auto layer. If I made a new layer, like this one, at the bottom, this is your typical blue highlight that you're familiar with. These are auto layers. But I can take this, I can rearrange it, put it where I want. I can move auto layers around as I want. I can rename auto layers if I want. I can do all that sort of stuff. But again, it's generally best to just be mindful of when you're using your own layers, because a lot is fine on the auto-generated layers. This is grayed out because it's not visible. If you remember, I turned that off, so I can turn that on and off. I can do that with other layers too. I can't select, right now this is yellow because it's selected. I can't work with an invisible layer, and so I can select a different layer to work with, or click this, and now it's back to auto place. So auto place is whenever a layer is not selected here. Make sense? I hope so. All right. If I was to, let's see, let's go to an area here. And when you are jumping into your levels for the first time, you'll notice that it's going to save automatically, just like this. See, it's saving when I go to a new area. But that's only a one-time deal. That's just because Platform Builder is setting itself up for the new layer system. But now, when I'm in the course editor, there's visible, and now there's also an active feature. When in the course, an active layer is a layer which is active. If I turn it off, then it's going to function as if the things on the layer don't even exist, and they're going to be completely frozen in time. So for instance, let's take an enemy here, and let's put him on auto 3. Select that. But let's take auto 3 and let's make that non-active. Ready, set, go. So there he is, just frozen in time. Not like that other guy to the right. But as you can see, kind of fun. You can do interesting things like that. And there's commands again to modify that. So layer 3 active equals 1. There we go. But you can turn these things on and off. You have to be careful though, because again, if you turn a layer off, it's going to act as if it doesn't even exist. That includes solids as well. So I'm standing right now on a solid object that belongs to, I believe, layer 5. And if I turn that off, I just fell through the ground. The only thing that's going to remain active always is the character itself. The character is actually on layer 5 too, but that doesn't get disabled. Okay, let me show you some of the ways that this could be applied. So obviously with layers, you can do interesting things where you have enemies or items or characters move behind or in front of certain things, kind of hide or unhide. You can do secret little pathways that go behind walls. Things like that, of course, are available when you have layers, because you can make the character go behind walls or whatever, rather than in front as you're used to. But there's some other interesting features that you can use. And to give an idea, let's go to this example here. And I'll run this. Grab this item. As you can see, the item froze everything on this layer, and it really is frozen in time. The water also is acting as if it's non-existent. I could create an invisible swim block over this water if I still wanted to have swimming work. But this is, it's sort of like, and I turned off the saturation, or I brought the saturation down low too, just to make it a little more interesting. It's almost like you just froze time, which is kind of fun. But this also, the conveyor here is going to typically fall right through this when it's disabled, but I added some invisible solids onto that. And this is where it gets really fun. So you can also, as I showed you, you can make layers visible or invisible, and you can also turn them on or off, make them active or non-active. And here's an example of where I'm doing both. Ready for this? Boom. Look at that. Isn't that fun? You guys, I think you're going to have some fun with this sort of thing, because there's a lot that you can do when you pop around layers like this, as you can see. So to kind of show the trick, I have this layer starts invisible and inactive. If I just make it visible for you, you can see now that there's actually several layers going on, and you get this item, it swaps. You run over here, you get that item, it swaps again. In fact, if I go to this item, when you collect it, if layer 5 visible equals true, that's how it starts. And then layer 5 visible and active are made to 0. Layer 6 visible and active are made to 1. Otherwise, if that's how it is, then it swaps it back to how it started. So there you go, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. Right now at the publication date, this is an early release, it's beta. I expect that there's going to be some issues, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. But please remember to report those things. When you go to theplatformbuilder.com, there's a tab for Contact Us, and then under that tab, I believe, is a selection for reporting a bug or error. I do like to see those reports so that I can deal with them. So thank you guys so much, and enjoy using this new feature.